Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Echoism. This is a Zentangle original tangle. And it is a neat one for filling in a section. So I'm going to do my four corners on my little bijou tile, and I've tried zooming in here just to see if this will help. I like using these bijou tiles for my purposes of keeping these Zentangle Quickies quick, and so I'm not filling up an enormous tile, and the tiles aren't enormous really anyway, but this helps me to focus, but I did get some comments if we could zoom in a little bit, so we're going to give this a try. All right, so pretending that that this section is something on, if you're doing a traditional tangle where you've, say you've done your four corners, your border, and you've added a string, dividing up your space, and looking for something to add in, this is a neat one. I think I'm going to do this one on the diagonal, and it's just neat. So maybe just, oh, not this pen. Not that pen. Let's do a different one. That one, I am sometimes heavy-handed, and that one was more of a chisel point than it was a, it had a nice tip. And so then the little nib spins around, and so because there's still ink in there, so I kind of try to reserve those for when I have to fill things in. But then they sometimes get mixed up too. All right, so this one, this is kind of just, we're just going to go back and forth. This is also kind of a soothing one. So I'm going to start on this end, and it's just kind of like, it's not really a loop-de-loop, but sort of, it's kind of like a cursive L, for those that remember cursive. So you see, so I'm making a curve line, I'm coming up around, and then I'm dipping down, and then separating a little bit. So we're just kind of repeating this pattern, but we're filling in as we go, as you can see. And this is a nice one to kind of go slow. And then, the kind of going back and forth is rather soothing, if I do say so. I'm going to zoom that back there. And then it could get a little interesting. Just don't know. Okay, there we go. And we're going to end it like that. All right. But you get the idea. It's just, we're going back. Like I said, the first one is like a cursive L. And, well, this is going to totally date me. For those that remember the old TV show Laverne and Shirley, this is a Laverne L, right? That she wore on her shirts. All right. So that is the first step. The second step, the rest of it is basically aura-ing. So, but aura-ing the outside. So we're going to leave the loops alone. So everything on the outside. And let's see, I guess I'll start with this little bit up here. And for those that don't know, let me just double check here. Yep. Oh, and it just made me think of a different way to do this as well. So this is going to be, I'm going to call it a complete aura. So what I've done here is I went over with the pen the string line. So we just kind of go around aura-ing, and then going to go around again. And what did I just say? I called it a complete aura. Versus we have some, like, so I know I have a video, and I'm trying to remember how long ago it was. It doesn't seem like it was that long. The video is called Current, and that one is more of a spiral. So you're still aura-ing, but it's like I would start here, and I'm thinking, oh, that could look kind of cool for this too. But it would be a variation. But you would start in one place and just keep aura-ing around until you couldn't anymore. This does give it a little bit different look, because we are following the shape as close as we can here. And again, when I get to that string line, I am just putting my pen over the string line. But we're doing a complete aura, and then aura-ing again on the inside, going as far as you can. And when I get to someplace like this, I don't necessarily, well, actually, gonna debate here. Usually what I do is I call it bouncing. So I'll stop there because I'm not necessarily gonna get 2 lines through there. But we'll do this. Then I call it bouncing because that's what it feels like. So I bounce off of that, this place that it's not going to fit through twice, and then come back up and complete that aura. But you could. I'm going to leave it for now. But one thing I'm thinking about is I could just draw a single line down there. But yeah, so where these loops come together is where we just kind of have these little decision points. But again, so we're just auraing. And, it's like go down as far as you can and then come back up. And then at the end, see what you can fit in. Like here, you could fit in a little triangle, and that's kind of cute. Now here, because this one is way too tight, that's exactly what we're going to do right down here, is just put a little triangle in with a little one on the inside of that. So this one is neat because it's not going to necessarily ever be the same thing twice, because you're always going to be filling in a different section. Or I'm not filling. All of your sections are going to look different. Oh, my words are backwards. And I've decided all of a sudden to flip to the other side. We're going to fill all of these in, all of these sections that are not the loops. And actually, I think I can do another one right here. So this is all going to depend on how fine you can work. And you might, so this is an 01 pen. I do have an 005. And sometimes I get, for things like this, sometimes I'm tempted to use. And sometimes it's just that where we're just kind of doing maybe 2 auras because that's what will fit, and that's okay. And just like everything with Zentangle, see, in that one I've come real close to that line there, but it's okay. Like everything with Zentangle, after you do one, then you kind of have the idea of things to look out for, or things that you might make sure that you might want to try to do differently, things like that. Like this, I wanted to fill that whole space in, and well, I don't know if there could have been another way that I could have done it or not. But at the same time, we want that free flowing pen, free flowing or no flowing thoughts, just, where you can just absorb yourself into this. And sometimes, because I do like to plan, and I think that that's my issue with, issue with is probably a bad way to say it, why I don't feel like I have any spontaneous creativity is because I think too much about it, as if there's something, like I'm always wondering, how did this artist come about doing that? What was their thought process? And who knows, it might not have been any thought process there. I decided to put that line there after all. But that's just, I wonder these things, and I'm going to put a little, very careful aura right there. Check it over to make sure I have everything. But so it's just nice to just, just a free flowing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and not worrying about it, not worrying about what's gonna come out, and then having the aura, and having fun with that as well, and then knowing that you're gonna get into the shading, and so the shading is kind of fun. I have some examples. Oh, here somewhere, yes, of some shading, and let me see. I might try to do. Well, actually, oh no, I shaded. Yeah, so there's 100 ways to Sunday to shade. Let me just share first. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to pull the camera back when I do that. So never mind. I think what I'm gonna do. So it's kind of neat. You could just shave a portion. So I'm gonna try this because I'm looking at my my Zenthology, and that's kind of what she did. And this is different than I have done before, so it's just kind of like the bottom part of the parts that we aura'd. And let's just see what that looks like. Oh, kind of neat. I was looking at the camera to see, what does that look like? Because I see it one way in front of me, but it always looks even neater through the lens of the camera. And I'm just touching with a little. Oh, so that is neat. Now something else, because I feel like it. So I kind of did these the bottoms of these sections. Now I'm gonna just do a little bit on the top of these, just cause. And so if you are new to Zentangle, and I don't know when I have repeated, because I say this often, because it is one of the tenets, if you will, of Zentangles. We don't worry when we're doing shading. We are looking for contrast. We are not necessarily looking for worrying about, the light source and things like that. So we're just looking for pop and for contrast, and that's fun. Just so that way you know that. If you want to worry about it, of course you can. Oh, so that's kind of neat. Let's turn it around. Ooh! It's so interesting how sometimes you can just turn it and it has a little bit different look. Oh, I kind of like it that way. How neat. Which is essentially upside down to how I had drawn it. But with Zentangle, there's no up, there's no down. It's intended to be completely non-representational. But that is Echoism. And I'm going to back up this camera if I can do this while I'm, wrong direction, sorry. All right, this is my normal setting. All right. So here is one, paired it with Knightsbridge, and let's see, this one, I don't think I did any shading on this one, because what's neat about it though is the way I did it on this half. Oh no, I'm sorry, I did a little bit of shading just inside, a very little bit, inside of the loops. But the way this one turned out, and actually the picture I took for my blog post, I have this little teeny rabbit, and I should have just glued it on there, because this just so looks like Alice in Wonderland. And this one a little bit even more so. This is the through the looking glass part, where it gets all weird. But this one I did shading in the middle, so where things crossed is where so pretty much right up the middle of that, and that gave it it's like these are bent in, it adds that little bit of a curve. And then did on the outside and took the graphite outside the edge, into the frame. So there's just a couple ideas for shading. You of course can do it however you see fit. Let me pop that right there in the middle. And just enjoy it. Again, that rocking back and forth is kind of makes it kind of soothing. So if you're looking for that meditative, mindful aspect of Zentangle, this is a really neat tangle to do. So with that, if you liked the video and would love to have a thumbs up on that. If you have comments, feel free to leave them, of course, in the comment section. And in the description, I will put a link to my step outs. And there is also information on connecting with me. If you're on Facebook, we have a nice Zentangle Tangle Addicts community where we have fun just going over the tangles that I do in the classes that I teach weekly, and just having general fun and support of each other as we have fun with Zentangle. So with that, I wish you very, very happy tangling.